We are almost at the end of the morning session. However, we have one more panel before we go to lunch. Looks like we have a little bit more participants in the room. Maybe again, I would like to invite you to come a little bit in front. And I would like to bring on stage for the next panel, Juergen, the founder of Pioneers. He will discuss about the European Innovation Council and how this initiative impacts innovative businesses.
Hello, everyone. I can only emphasize that it's much, much better in the front. The air is better. You can listen to it much better. Can you join us up here? Thank you. All right. I would like to use the time in between to get my panelists on stage. Bruno, Ramona, Tatjana, Gabriele, Robert. Okay, we are complete. So this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna do a very, very quick intro round. Please take your seat wherever you want to. Thank you. Oh, you wanna sit here? Thank you. Just a very, very quick intro round, just who you are and what you do. We're gonna have time to dive into it in greater detail in the next round. Ramona, maybe you wanna start?
Yes, so my name is Ramona SAMSON. I'm working for the European Commission in the Directorate General for Research and Innovation in the unit dealing with investments and SMEs. And of course, we are also the unit working on the design and the implementation of the European Innovation Council.
Hi, I'm Bruno from France. I used to found Aldebaran Robotics, company who created the robots, now on paper. At that time, it had been helped and supported by EC, and we turned into world leader. And now I've created another company, AnotherBrain, doing another way of doing artificial intelligence, more powerful than deep learning, and we already got some subsidies and support from European Commission.
Hi, I'm Robert KAŁUΖA. I am one of the founders of Billon. Just in few words, Billon is, we like to call it a civilized blockchain. We are actually one of the few companies that civilized blockchain, make it regulatory compliant, at least here in Europe. Happy participating in SME Instrument Phase 2 out of Horizon 2020 for over a year. So I'm happy to share all of my experiences here.
Hi, I'm Gabriele BULGARINI. I'm General Manager of Single Quantum. And to give a few words about the company, we develop scientific instrumentation. And this is a spin-off company from Delft University of Technology. So we have experience with funding from European Commission, both when we were at the university and also as a small medium enterprise.
Hi everyone, I'm Tatjana MIKUŽ. I'm a managing partner in South Central Ventures, which is an early stage venture capital fund active in Western Balkans. We also have some funding from European Commission or EIF as our investors actually. And I also had one of my portfolio companies actually receiving funding from Horizon 2020 project.
Well, thank you all for joining us here. As you can see, we have basically 3 different heads here on stage looking at the EIC program. You will gonna look at it from the VC perspective. We have 3 entrepreneurs, and Ramona in a second will give us much more insights on the program, what has happened so far, what's the program about, and also some data, some results. I mean, what have been the results? So the stage is all yours. It sets the tone, please.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, I will not touch that one. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Just a second. Just a second, Ramona. You're gonna get some help.
Somebody is running to you.
Okay. So thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Okay.
We're waiting for you. No hurry.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you here today. I will briefly present the reasoning behind the European Innovation Council, and then I will give an overview of the results of what is currently available under the European Innovation Council pilot. So I think the challenge is quite clear. We have on the money side the money challenge, that is a lack of private finance for innovators and scale-ups in Europe. In particular, equity. Our colleagues from the EIB Innofin Advisory, they carried out a study which shows that the gap is about 70 billion euros. We also have a challenge on the side of research. We very good in Europe to excel at ideas and breakthrough research, but not so good when it comes of translating those ideas into marketable products and solutions. Also, innovators, they need support to bring ideas to a stage. Today they spend too much money looking for funding and financing, so it's not that we don't have entrepreneurs and innovators in Europe. We do, but at international level, if you look and compare, they spend too much time on looking for this funding and trying to attract financing from private sector investors. To counter all these reasons, we have launched the idea of setting up an European Innovation Council under the next multi-annual financial framework. This council will aim at breakthrough, disruptive, market-creating innovation. How will be implemented? Mainly through two main instruments, the Pathfinder for breakthrough research and the Accelerator. And these two complementary programs will offer similar support across covering the whole value chain, from research and innovation activities to market deployment and scaling up of innovative companies. We're looking for high-risk, highly innovative, and high EU added value projects with ambition to scale up and a clear commercialization plan when they come to us and ask for funding. What we have today on the table under the European Innovation Council pilot, it will be 4 times more the funding available under the European Innovation Council. So a factor will be multiplied by a factor of 4. So today we have 2.7 billion euros in Horizon 2020. As of 2021, in the next financial framework, we will have 10 billion euros proposed for the European Innovation Council. I'm not saying that it's enough, and if you heard Hermann Häuser at our event 10 days ago, he was telling us that studies show that we would need 20 billion euros a year to cover the gap. Nonetheless, I think it will have an impact in the innovation landscape in Europe. It will fund high-risk breakthrough innovation with the ability to disrupt existing markets and create new markets, in particular where markets do not provide viable financing. The Pathfinder, it will support innovation from technology readiness level 1 to level 5 or 6. It will cover future and emerging technologies with one-off grant. A project can apply for accelerator funding as it matured. It is mainly bottom-up, but we will have a couple of topics such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, quantum, that will be top-down because these are areas where financing and public intervention is badly needed. The accelerator, and this is the newest element under the Open Innovation Pillar in Horizon Europe, it will provide blended finance, grants plus loan and equity of up to 15 million or more. and it will bridge the financing gap between late-stage innovation activities and market scale-up. So if you ask me what makes a project successful under the accelerator, I'm going to tell you that it needs to be ambitious enough, it needs to have European added value, it has to be risky projects. So we will evaluate as an additional criteria to impact and excellence the risk level. It will need to have a clear commercialization plan and ambition to reach the market and scale up. The expected impact, more innovations that create new markets, scale up companies and higher growth for SMEs and startups, and we want more entrepreneurship and risk-taking and more accessible, user-friendly support to innovation. Let me now give you an overview of what we are offering today. We have a comprehensive scheme covering different programs. The one is the Future Emerging and Technologies, the Fast Track to Innovation and SME Instrument Phase 1 and 2. This will be enhanced as of early next year. The first calls, we already mirror what we propose under Horizon Europe. That means that we will have the two instruments in place, the Pathfinder and the Accelerator, gathering together all the existing instruments with a budget of, as I said, almost 2.7 billion euros. And we will have feasibility phase 1, as you know, for concept and feasibility study, helping the researcher, set up a company and a business plan. And then a series funding phase 2, which is today in the legal basis capped at 2.5 million for demonstration, testing, market replication, pilot lines, and scale-up solution. In numbers, and these are the latest I received yesterday, so far, the SME instrument have been able to fund 3,650 beneficiaries, out of which 1/3 in phase 2. In total, we have allocated 1.77 billion in funding, and we have a success rate of 5 to 8%. Now, if you look at the numbers, or if you look at the industry and the companies that we have funded, you can see that the first three sectors are medical, healthcare, then clean tech and energy, and then you go into this deep tech, analytics, robotics, ICT, and fintech sectors. So it's interesting to see also what will be the next cutoff. So when can you apply? For phase 1, the next cutoff is 13th of February 2019, and then 7th of May 2019. And I will have to tell you that in May is going to be the last cutoff date for phase 1. This will be discontinued, as we think that the type of support on the phase 1 can be provided at national level. And then for phase 2, the next cutoffs are 9th of January next year, so it's very soon, more or less in a month's time, and then on 3rd of April 2019. Then we'll have, for the first time ever, a cutoff date in June with the equity option. So basically, when you will apply, you will have to tick a box where you decide whether you want equity or grant only, or equity plus grant. And the same in October. And this will mirror, as I said, what is coming already under Horizon Europe, under the fully fledged European Innovation Council. So that's all from my side. I look forward to your questions, either on the implementation side or on the policy development.
Thank you so much, Ramona. Just because I just saw it on one of the slides, 5 to 8% success rate. How do you define success?
Yes, that's a very good question. Well, success rate is, you know, defined by the number of, you know, applicants versus the number of beneficiaries. And you see, so it means that those who have been successful, only 5% of hosters apply, which is, of course, a very, very low. But it's really defined by the number of applicants at a given date, you know, for the funding. Mm-hmm. It doesn't reflect, you know, the number of entrepreneurs or innovators in Europe. Huh? And I can tell you for the other parts of the program, the success rate is much higher. It goes to up to 14%.
All right. Interesting that Herman said we're going to need 20 billion a year. I mean, that would be pretty nice, I have to say. Bruno, so you can be described as Nao's, Romeo's, Pepper's daddy, basically. It was sold, as far as I remember, in 2015 to SoftBank, became SoftBank Robotics, so a really, really big success story here in Europe. And now you're on to creating an AI company that's going to outperform DeepMind, as you just said. Can you elaborate a little bit on it, on the company per se, and then dive into your experience with the EIC program?
Okay, thank you. Previously, yes, I founded in 2005 Aldebaran Robotics. Goal was to create new kind of robot with specific values, and it's really important for me. It was